This is Sophie Heller, and this is an ACT science question. The question is asking us which information would be most useful to the chemist in determining if the white powder were pure. And that's something that's determined in experiment 2, so suggesting that the white powder is a pure compound. So let's look at what happens in experiment 2. Experiment 2 is an experiment based on melting the white powder. So we're going to try to find the well-defined melting point. And the experiment tells us, so in similar experiments, other pure compounds display sharp melting points. So this suggests that melting points are something important in determining the purity of a compound. So we definitely want something with melting points. And if we look at our answer choice, we want to make sure to get rid of any choice that doesn't talk about melting points. So combustion analysis is not exactly melting points. So we don't want that because we want to just talk about the melting point. And the combustion analysis is actually done in experiment 3, which will not tell us about the melting point and will not describe the purity of the compound, but will tell us about the chemical composition. So you have 1 millimole of carbon dioxide and so on. So that's not good. Similarly, answer choice 4, elemental analysis only. That's also something coming from experiment 3. So it's telling us that there are certain amounts of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. So that's not going to talk about the purity of the compound. The only place that this pure compound is mentioned is here in experiment 2. So we're left with the melting point only, choice 3, or the melting and freezing points. So we talk about the freezing point in experiment 1, and it tells us some interesting information about the freezing point of the solution, and it's much lower than that of water. But it doesn't tell us anything about the purity of the compound. So even though we care about the melting point, the freezing point is not relevant. So we only want to look at the melting point in determining this purity. So choice 3 is our answer.